Anthropic has just released the most powerful AI model we have ever seen among the general public. The moment we have been waiting for so long is finally here with Claude Mythos 5, or sort of, because we actually don't have access to Claude Mythos 5. We have access to Claude Fable 5. So if you're kind of confused seeing Fable 5, don't worry, you're not alone. We'll talk about that a little bit here. But, to make a long story short, Fable 5 is the one that they're giving us normal people access to, while Mythos 5 still stays locked behind closed doors because of how dangerous it is, or so they say, right? But they did release Fable 5. It is available to all of us now, and it is really a big moment. So I haven't had too much time to test it out, but what I want to do right now in this like kind of breaking video is talk about, what it is, like look at what they're saying publicly about it, show you how to set it up in your Claude app right now, and just what this means going forward, because it really is a groundbreaking moment when you look at how much powerful it is, or how much more powerful it is compared to even something like Opus 4.8. All right, so we'll take a look at their blog post, official blog post that just went live just a few hours ago at this point, maybe like an hour ago at the time of recording this. Today we're launching Claude Fable 5, a Mythos-class model that we've made safe for general use. So as you can see right away that now we have this whole new family of models we can look at for Claude. This is a Mythos-class model. So, we're not looking at Opus or we're not looking at Sonnet, but now a whole new family of models. So Claude Fable 5 is a Mythos-class model that is safe for general use. Fable 5's capabilities exceed those of any model we've ever made generally available. It is state-of-the-art on nearly all tested benchmarks of AI capability, like software engineering, knowledge work, vision, scientific research, and many other areas. All right, the longer the task, the better Fable 5 is compared to other models like Opus, Sonnet, GPT. All right. So what they did basically, because we know Mythos was so dangerous as they were talking about, they weren't going to release it to the public. It was being released in that Project Glassdoor for specific companies. I think the EU now is also getting it. So with this Fable 5, basically what they did was they launched a Mythos 5 type model, but they put safeguards in it, which means some queries that you might ask it or some topics will not be answered by the Fable 5, and it will default backwards to Opus 4.8. So that is how they're doing this, initially. Now, they do say that sometimes this means it will catch harmless requests, but on average, we're talking about less than 5% of sessions. And if you're dealing with stuff like non-development work, which many of you are in my audience, people dealing with content businesses, other type of businesses that don't involve software engineering, you're probably not even going to hit this or ever even encounter it if you're just dealing with stuff like that. This is probably more for cybersecurity things and people trying to do crazy stuff with the model that you're probably not going to be doing for your own operation. They do say in the coming months they are going to improve the safeguards and try to reduce false positives, okay? So that is Fable 5 for us normal people, but a small group of cyber defenders and infrastructure providers are also now getting Claude Mythos 5. So that is the same underlying model as Fable 5, but with the safeguards, pulled out and kind of just running crazy there, right? It's going to be deployed through the Project Glasswing. I think I said Glassdoor before, Project Glasswing, in collaboration with the US government, and an upgrade to the current preview model. Now, I'm just going to scroll down to these benchmarks here. I don't really care that much about benchmarks, but, I've talked about that before, but I think these are worth looking at here. You can see on like agentic coding, you could just see the difference between Opus 4.8 at 69.2% and Fable 5 at 80.3%. So it's kind of an insane jump here. Looking at knowledge work, we got 29.8% compared to the Opus's 22.5. Spatial reasoning, tool use is higher. Computer use is significantly higher. Legal, multidisciplinary reasoning, biology, agentic coding, cybersecurity. So just all around looks like an incredibly powerful model. It can also work autonomously for longer than any previous Claude model. Okay, so I'm imagining with Opus 4.8, we can already set this thing to run for a really long time. So Fable 5 is going to be even significantly longer probably. Now, before showing you how to enable this in your app, I just pulled some things out with Claude itself when I was reviewing all of this for my audience. So a couple important things to know about the drop. Like I said before, we got two models, one brain. Fable 5 is the public version that is safe for everyone at this point, while Mythos 5 is the same model, but with cyber guardrails off and locked to security partners. So most likely you're going to be using Fable 5. You probably don't have access to Mythos 5. It is a tier above Opus. So it's the most capable model they've ever made, generally available, state of the art on nearly every benchmark. And the longer and more complex the task, the bigger its lead is over other models. A couple things that they talked about or they released, a couple use cases. Stripe ran a 50 million line code base migration in 1 day, which would usually take 2 months of teamwork. It also beat Pokemon Fire Red on just using its vision alone with no other tools. And then it also did frontier physics research in a third of the tokens. If you go to the official blog, you can see all of that here. For example, if you scroll down, we could see it beating Pokemon Fire Red using only vision. You could see it doing some simulation of the solar system and predicting a solar eclipse. As you know, they always show these cool use cases that don't really matter for us, but they show the power of the model. Now, what is the pricing like? Because everybody's expecting Mythos and stuff to be outrageously expensive. We've been talking about this for a long time about prices going up. All right. Well, prices did go up. They did go up significantly, but they didn't go up as much as you might think. We're looking at $10 to $50 per million. Okay. So that's doubling Opus 4.8s. Okay. Token price. So it's double Opus 4.8, but for a model that is incredibly capable and, the most powerful model we've ever had, you probably, I mean, at least I expected it to be more expensive, but it's not that bad. But there are some important points to think about here that we're going to cover here in a minute. It is available everywhere right now through the API, through Claude.ai, everywhere. It's included in your Pro, Max, and Team plans, okay? But it is only included in your Claude subscription plans through June 22nd. After that point, after June 22nd, you are going to have to pay for the Fable 5 model through usage credits, meaning on top of your subscription. So that's really important. You have until June 22nd to run it as much as you can on your subscription. But after that, it's going to be a separate product that you then have to pay extra usage-based credits on. However, Anthropic did say that they plan on eventually getting it back into the subscription, but we have no clue how long that's going to be. So use it heavily this week. And if you like it and think that it will significantly improve your business, then you can pay extra for the extra usage. And like I said, if it flags something or if it doesn't want to do a use case or, the guardrail doesn't allow it to, it will automatically just fall back to Opus 4.8. It's not just going to stop. It will actually just fall back to its second most capable model. Now, whenever you log into your app, you need to make sure to update your Claude Code app or your Claude desktop app right here so that you have access to the model. Once you run your update on your app, this is the desktop app right here. Like I said, I've been using Claude Code just in the desktop app, and it's an incredibly powerful tool. So if you're not already, go ahead and use it. You don't have to touch the terminal. You don't have to touch VS Code. You don't have to touch cursor, nothing. Just use the Claude Code desktop app. Once you update it, you're going to see this pop up here, their most capable model yet. You're going to see that it's included in your plan limits until June 22nd. But it does take 2 times the usage of Opus. So it's, like I said, twice as expensive. So also going to use your usage twice as fast. And then you can toggle on, switching the model to Opus 4.8 whenever it fails. Also, important thing to note is with these new models, they have a new data retention policy. So you have no choice but to let them do the data retention for 30 days. They say that it's not used, to train the model, I believe. But that for all you people who, that is important for you, just know that you can't opt out of the data retention when you use these top tier models now. So once you do that, you're going to get into your Claude. Now, one thing I noticed right away is for myself and a lot of other people, it's not showing up right away. So you can see down here on the bottom right of the app where we can select the model. You do not see Fable 5 here, right? All you see is Opus 4.8, Sone, Haiku, Opus Legacy models. Even after I updated, so I already updated, it's still not showing up. But to actually make it work, you're just going to run this this command right here, which the Claude devs put on X themselves to run this if you're having trouble. So if you don't see the model showing up here in your dropdown, just run inside of your thing, inside of your chat /model Claude Fable 5. If you hit enter, you're going to see it automatically changes to Fable 5 here. So now Fable 5 is running. So that is how you easily just switch it over if you don't see it. Let's just open a new session just to make sure. Let's run it again. You see it disappeared again. So I'm going to have to run it to switch the model. And now it should work here. And let's see. Thinking, user, reading. Here right away too, I noticed there is no toggle. You cannot toggle the effort like you can with Opus, where you can drag it to extra, ultra, etc. We just have a base Fable 5. All right, so here it is. Called it in. I'm not going to see anything special here, but it loaded all my contacts. It knows what we worked on last session and all of that. So test it out. I haven't tried it out too much yet, but of course, I'm now going to switch over everything to Fable 5 and see how my workflows change today and tomorrow and the next day. This is a huge moment for AI operators, for solopreneurs, anybody like myself who runs all of these different businesses and operations solo, because the more powerful the model gets when we already have a system in place, just overnight things change for your business. So I emphasize this all the time. You should already have a system built that is just going to be supercharged every time these new models come out. So if you're starting from scratch with no system, you need to like drop everything right now, build a system, context files, build out your workspace folder, agent skills, all of this, a working system for your business, so that you could take advantage of these moments and you're not sitting here staring at the most powerful AI model you have ever had access to, and you're staring at a blank page because you don't have anything built and you don't know how to even use it. It should just naturally upgrade the system that you already have. All right. And that's what I'm doing here. And that's what you should be doing. A couple things to mention here. The non-dev to the builder jump has collapsed dramatically. It's already been collapsing, meaning if you're somebody who has never built anything, if you're somebody who has no developing experience, you are not restricted anymore, especially with new models like this. Whatever your mind is, or whatever you're imagining that you can build, a tool, a platform, something for your business, you can build it now, just speaking to Claude Code using a model like Fable 5. They have some customer reviews talking about how apps that took 100 prompts a year ago can just be shot off in a one shot at this point, right? I myself have built my own tools and platform on Claude Code as a non-dev, starting with Opus 4.6 all the way up until now. So I'm curious to see how much that changes. Anthropic says it handles complex multi-agent workflows that its own employees run daily in Claude Code. All right, so they themselves are using this to build their successful businesses, which are way more complex than mine. And lastly, just like I said, what separates you is the system you pointed out, right? So a model that has your context, your skills, your content wiki, anything, even if somebody next to you is using the same model, yours is going to be worth so much more because you're plugging it into a system that you've been building for months while they're starting from zero. That is the moat. That is the series gap that is existing right now. And with this model in particular, you do not even have to babysit it. We're getting more to a point where it can do things on its own, spawn hundreds of agents, do just incredibly complicated work. It's like you have an entire operation under you without a single human employee that you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford this many experts working for your business, but now you can. So that is Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5, which we don't really care about right now, but Claude Fable 5, it is here, it is available. Turn over all your workflows to it for this week. You only have a limited time to use it until you have to start paying for it based off of extra usage credits. I will switch over everything this week. Starting today, I will keep you updated, let you know anything I run into, and show you how my workflows are improved. But huge moment, and make sure to go test it out right now.